You better not be sitting somewhere on the job talking to somebody that wasn't saved. I saw it. The person they were talking to had long earrings, had long pants, had this. And that's been one of the problems we've had for many years. Because if God calls you to be an influencer, how can you influence something you never come in contact with? How can you change the flavor of a person that you never extend flavor to them? And so all of a sudden, I'm sitting there looking at it and God is saying, the problem we are so close knitted together that our salt is being salt to salt. But there's no salt going out to folk that have no flavor. If I get tired, all of a sudden, I'm so holy and sanctified and righteous. I'm the perfect person. But there's nobody being influenced by me because I'm too holy to even communicate with the person that needs to change their flavor. And all of a sudden, I'm sitting there talking to the Lord. I said, wait a minute, what are you saying to me? He said, I broke some ground for you, and you backed away because you're concerned about what folk are going to say. I get invitations to preach from certain places, and I back away because folk don't understand. How is it that this apostolic Pentecostal preacher gets invited to such kind of church? If I'm not invited to those churches, how will the message that God has given me be preached? And one of the things that really hurts me, when we get to our building, I'm going to get back on the radio. Get back because our message should be spread. The land has been preserved thus far because of the influence of the righteous. I know y'all want to hear this. I think at this point now, God will wipe this earth away because He has to be vexed with the activities going on in the world. It's got to disturb. The politicians have become so stupid that a politician would change the law and push the law down the church's throat and say you got to abide by this crazy law that God says is an abomination. If God got so upset with Sodom and Gomorrah, you think He's not upset with what's going on there? He's not upset with the fact that a parent cannot chastise their child? When the Bible says we spare the rod to spoil the child. When God has told us that we ought to take care of our family, but now the government take care of our family, you think God is in favor of that kind of on? Now God has given the rule for us to live by, but we are letting the government dictate to us how it's going to be. And I will not be surprised for long that the rule will come. That's why I'm still afraid of the 501c3. I know the rule is on the way out. They get ready to crash it down in churches. So you think God is not upset with this kind of craziness that's going on? Your kids can have drugs. You go buy a gun anywhere, buy drugs anywhere. If you get caught with drugs, all you spank you on the hand. Every kind of crime committed. So going to jail for a day, come out. And he gets the saints almost afraid to come to church at night because crime is so bad in the street. And God has been fed up with this food, but He has not wiped it out because we are the influencers. Salt preserves. And at this point now, the salt is preserving the earth. We are the ones that God is depending on us to put our flavor in the earth. He said, how am I going to do that? It starts at home. The flavor ought to be in the house. Your child ought to pick up your influence. Your child ought to want to be like you. If there's a problem that the child don't want to be like you need to look in the mirror and find out why. I would expect my son to be. He might not be like me, but I sure expect him to be like me. I grew up in the house where, and my sisters here, there's three of them in here. We ain't never seen my dad outside of a suit. If we did, he had a shirt on with a necktie. When he came out the bedroom, he was fully dressed. I don't care where you saw him, he was dressed up. He didn't wear a lot of crazy colors. I'm not condemning that because I'm going to have to give you something because I'm going to press him. But I'm saying he set a standard. He set a high standard. He never raised his voice. The whole time we grew up in the house, I've never heard skin you alive. But he didn't holler and said, because I said, boy, I'll skin you alive. And he ain't had to holler. I took his word. I believe what he said. But he set an example. Parents got to set the example. Your child has to admire you because the flavor you give them. That child ought to be say, I want to be like mom. I want to be like dad. Or when I grow up, I'll be like that. When you got a child, and the worst thing I want to be is like my dad,